I wonder what could she be? If she is, where's her body? I just want to know where Briana is. When we find her and bring her home, that's when I would get my closure. But until then, I'm not giving up.
When 23-year-old Briana Winston went missing, her family and the police struggled to find out what had happened to her, but nothing would have prepared them for the gruesome details they were about to uncover.
She had confronted him after learning about his infidelity to her. He her.
Even more shocking, there were several people involved in Briana's disappearance.
The man told us that both he and Edwards used a shovel to break down Briana's bones in an attempt to speed up the burning process. It turned into a family affair. He definitely looped everyone in to this crime.
So what did happen to Briana? Why did it take so long for anyone to notice she was missing? And how did the police uncover the truth? Let's explore. Briana Winston, or Breezy, as her family fondly called her, was described as being really sweet, loving, adorable, and really attentive. She was outgoing and bubbly, and always had a smile on her face. Briana was also described as being family-oriented. She was super close with her extended family, with her grandma saying that she would call her at least 2 times a week to check how she was doing. Briana was also said to be super hardworking, and was juggling 2 jobs while pursuing her hairstyling dreams. Her co-workers only had good things to say about her.
We had a great connection. She was always cheerful, had a smile on her face. She was just a wonderful person to get to know. Anyone that she met or meet, you had an instant connection with her.
Briana was also a mom to a 4-year-old girl whom she absolutely adored.
She was crazy about her daughter. That's all she would talk about, her little girl.
When this incident happened, Briana, who was 23 years old at the time, was living in Clayton County, Georgia, with her daughter and her boyfriend, 23-year-old Michal Edwards. It's not clear how long the two had dated, but they apparently met in high school, and Michal was the father of her daughter. On April 1st, 2024, Briana's family got worried because they hadn't seen or heard from her for quite some time. They tried calling her multiple times, but the calls were not going through. Briana's cousin, Jasmine Walker, said that they called Michal to ask about Briana's whereabouts, but he did not answer his phone. At this point, Briana's family knew something was wrong. Their fears were confirmed when they learned that she had not shown up for work since March 17th. Also, her daughter had been staying with Michal's mother, so they called the mom to ask if she knew anything about what was going on with the young couple, but she reportedly told them that she didn't want to get involved.
We called the mom, and the mom said she'd stay out of their business, and that was it. She said she didn't know where Briana was, and that was that.
The last time Briana was seen alive was on the evening of March 16th by her best friend, who said that she saw her heading back to her apartment.
She went to her best friend's house, and her best friend said that she was over her house on March the 15th, the 16th.
When her family went to her apartment to check on her and see if maybe she was sick or something, they were shocked to find that it had been cleaned out.
Her sister reached out to me on the 1st of April and said, "Have you talked to Briana?" I said, "No." She was like, "Well, I've been calling her and texting her." And I'm like, "Well, that's not Briana." So I got up, left my house, and came over here and went to the leasing office and asked them could they do a wellness check on her. And when they went in the apartment was spotless, clean.
But what was even more alarming was the apartment smelled like bleach.
They said when they walked in, it smelled like bleach, and they stepped in something wet on the carpet. But they said the refrigerator was cleaned out, spotless. The toilet was spotless. Everything was spotless. It was clean. Wasn't nothing in there. They said the apartment was ready for moving, basically, again.
Then a neighbor told the family that they saw Michal carrying a gray bag in the early morning of March 17th.
The neighbor that lives up under Briana, she stated that she seen Michal like maybe 5 o'clock in the morning. So he had the bag in his hand. And Briana's uncle asked what kind of bag was it. She said like a gray bag. So they asked which direction he went in, and they went walking.
While searching behind the apartment building, Briana's uncle found the bag that the neighbor had seen, and it contained a pair of sneakers that also smelled like bleach.
Her uncle went and walked the trail, and he came upon the bag, and it had bleach in it and shoes, and when he called me, he just said, "I found something." But once he said he found something, I took off running.
This was definitely not a good sign, and it confirmed the family's fear that something bad had happened to her. So that same day, they went to the police and reported her missing. When an officer arrived at the scene, he immediately knew that something was not right.
They sent the police officer to her apartment and had them just look in there. And while I was standing at the police precinct, I heard the sergeant say over the speaker, he was like, "No, this is not right. We need to come and check this out."
The search for Briana was officially launched, with her family and friends passing out flyers around the area and talking to people to see if anyone had seen her. They also went to social media to spread the word, asking anyone with information about her whereabouts to please contact them. One of Briana's aunt wrote on Facebook, "My niece Briana is missing. Please share this for us. She lives in the Riverdale area and works in the Camp Creek area. We last heard from her on March 18th. Since then, no one has heard from her, and we just want to make sure she's alive and well. Please contact any of us if you have seen or heard from her."
We just want her back.
Life hasn't been the same for this family ever since 23-year-old Briana Winston disappeared. Police say she vanished on St. Patrick's Day.
She was trying to do better for her and her daughter. She was trying to go to school.
Her family reported the mother of one missing after discovering her apartment had been cleaned and cleared, according to police, by her boyfriend.
They took all her furniture, her clothes, everything.
She's not been in touch ever since.
That ain't like Breezy. If she didn't talk to nobody, she called me two, three times a week to talk, see how grandma was doing. Where's my baby? Where is Briana?
So where was Briana? What had happened to her? And how was her boyfriend involved in all this? Briana was known to be super private about her personal life. Although she rarely talked about what was going on in her relationship, her family and friends could tell that something was not right.
She was very secretive when it came down to him because he was and once we found out he was, you know how family get when once we found out he was, she kind of tried to keep him away from us.
Although Briana tried to hide the from everyone, there were several instances where Michal's and controlling behavior would be obvious for everyone to see.
Her co-worker said that he used to pop up at her job and just sit outside her job and just watch her. Her best friend said that he used to hide in the bushes and stuff. When he used to follow her. Like, she go to a friend's house or something. He used to follow her and hide in the bushes just to see who was she in the house with. And he always told her if she wasn't going to be with him, she wasn't going to be with nobody else.
One of Briana's male co-workers talked about how Michal would act standoffish towards anyone who tried to talk to Briana.
My first meeting of him, he rubbed me the wrong way. He was very controlling in a sense. And he acted that way toward everybody that tried to have a connection with Bria. He had that negative vibe toward him. I don't think too many people liked him.
The co-worker described an incident on Briana's birthday where Michal gave him a dirty look when he went to wish Briana a happy birthday.
Sometimes she would come to work and she would be distant. And I remember when she came in for her birthday, her daughter and her boyfriend was here. And it's her birthday. So I went to the table to just wish her a happy birthday. And I could see the guy, he gave me a dirty look. And she had to hit the table and tell him it's okay. But some things that I've heard, I did hear of him was totally opposite of whom she were.
The co-worker also said that he suspected that Michal was physically hurting Briana because she would sometimes come to work with marks on her and would seem distant.
I remember one night that she was waiting for him to come pick her up for work. And it was getting late. It's after 12 o'clock and it's raining. And she had called him and asked him, "Are you coming to get me?" He said, "I'm coming to get you the time that you told me to come get you." But we had another female that worked here let us sit in the car until he came, and she asked him, "Why didn't you come get me when you said you was going to come get me?" And he had a negative reply, "I come when I got ready to come get you."
According to the co-worker, Michal had shown up at Briana's workplace 2 weeks after she went missing and asked them if they had seen her, which they found to be quite weird given that he was the one living with her. And the last time she was seen, She was heading to the apartment they shared.
He came up here 2 weeks after she was missing, coming from Publix, and coming here asked some of us how we seen her. I thought that was odd and unusual.
Briana's family said that Briana was not happy in the relationship and had talked about leaving him. But every time she tried to leave, he would threaten to end her life.
She was tired. She was ready to leave him. She wasn't happy with him. Every time he came around, she was like quiet and standoffish. And he was very quiet. When he came around, he didn't say much to us. And that was kind of weird.
It's not clear whether Michal was working at the time, but according to Briana's family, she was the one footing most of the bills, including a $3,000 bill they got after Michal turned on the lights of their new apartment illegally.
When they moved into the apartments, he turned the lights on illegally, from what I heard. So when the light company found out that he turned the lights on, once the light company found out, they came and turned them off. So the bill was like $3,000 or something. So she was working 2 jobs to try to pay the bill down to get the lights back on. But while her lights was off, she'll come to my house and spend the night. She'll go to her grandmother's house. She'll go to her aunt's house. She would just stand here, there. She'll go to her best friend's house. She would just stand places.
While on their quest to find Briana, her family would soon discover something shocking about the man she had been living with.
We just found out he was married. The girl name is Briana as well.
Yup. Turns out, Michal got secretly married in January of 2024 to a woman named Briana Phillips Edwards.
The detective reached out to me the beginning of this past week. And I was just asking him, like, was it any updates on the case? And he was like, by the way, did you know that Michal was married? I said, married? He said, I guess you didn't know either. But that was like a wow to us. Because you're married, but you're still seeing her. You don't want her to be with anybody. And it was just crazy.
Could it be that Briana found out about this secret marriage and threatened to leave him? On April 8, 2024, Michal was arrested on unrelated charges of aggravated. It was revealed that Briana had obtained a stay-away order against Michal after a domestic violence incident in October 2023, but Michal had violated the order by continuously her. His wife, Briana Phillips, was also arrested for giving false statements, though the police would not reveal whether the false statements were in regards to Briana's disappearance.
She provided several statements. They were false.
She was later released on bond. On April 26th, police announced that Briana's case was now a homicide investigation, saying that the circumstances surrounding her disappearance were exceptionally suspicious in nature. They announced that the Clayton County Police Department Criminal Investigation Division was now taking over the case to determine what had happened to her. The detective had determined that Briana vanished during the early morning hours of March 17, 2024, and they believe that she was the victim of a crime that left her incapacitated in some way. They went on to say, to date, Briana Winston has not been located, but all points of evidence indicate that she is deceased, and detectives will proceed with the case as a homicide investigation. They also announced that Michal and his wife, Briana Phillips, were now persons of interest in Briana's disappearance.
Just into our newsroom tonight, a husband and wife have now become persons of interest in Clayton County in the case of a missing person that police have now classified as a homicide. So here's what we know from police tonight. The family of Briana Winston reported her missing April 1st. They say they went to her apartment only to find it completely cleaned out, reportedly by the father of her baby, who she also lived with. After that discovery, her family went to her job only to find out that Briana never showed up for her shift on March 17th. Clayton County Police are now saying the evidence is leading them to Briana's boyfriend, Michael Edwards, and his wife, Briana Phillips Edwards, as a person of interest in her disappearance.
This news was really devastating for the family, who had been distributing flyers for weeks in the hope of getting a favorable result.
I just wonder, where could she be? If she is, where's her body? I just want to know where Briana is. When we find her and bring her home, that's when I would get my closure. But until then, I'm not giving up.
On May 4, 2024, the investigation into Briana's disappearance took a gruesome turn after the police held a press conference saying that they had uncovered grisly details about what happened to her. They said that a man, who would remain anonymous, had come to them with intricate details that not even they were expecting to hear. In exchange for immunity from his charges, the man told detectives that he had helped Michal dispose of Briana's body in Tennessee. He said that on the morning of March 17th, Briana confronted Michal about his infidelity after learning that he had been cheating on her. They two got into a heated argument that ended with Michal cheating her.
She had confronted him after learning about his infidelity to her. He her.
When he realized that she was dead, he reportedly placed her body into a suitcase and drove to the friend's house in Gates, Tennessee, which is a whopping 420 miles away. Here, he somehow managed to convince the friend to help him get rid of Briana's body, and for some reason, the friend agreed. They placed the body into a burn barrel, doused it with accelerant, and set it on fire. They burned it for hours, until just skeletal remains were left. They then took the remains and disposed of them in 2 separate locations.
The man told us that both he and Edwards used a shovel to break down Briana's bones in an attempt to speed up the burning process. And then once nightfall hit, Edwards took a portion of Briana's remains, which he was to dispose on the side of the highway. The man also told us what was left within the burn barrel, he took and transported to a church in Ripley, Tennessee. He took that barrel behind the church and dumped the remains in a cemetery in the wooded area.
Police would recover some portions of the charred remains in a cemetery behind a church in Ripley, Tennessee, and another portion along Interstate 40 in Tennessee. But like that's not already disturbing enough, investigators revealed that several members of Michal's family, including his mother, his wife, and his brother, had helped him try to cover up his crimes.
And while reviewing jail calls, we heard Michael tell Briana Edwards Phillips to burn a pair of shoes and a pair of gloves. He also told her that his brother Keelan Wright would assist her with the burning of these items.
Authorities issued an arrest warrant for Michal's wife, Briana Phillips, for allegedly providing him with a car to get to Tennessee to destroy Briana's body and knowing something about the incident, though it's unclear how much she knew. Michal's mother and brother were also charged with their involvement in tampering with evidence after Michal was heard telling his wife in a jail call to destroy some items connected to the case.
It turned into a family affair. He definitely looped everyone in to this crime.
Investigators said that this was not a crime of passion, as Michal had the option of walking away from the argument.
It was malice because it took some forethought. It was not a crime that was committed in the heat of passion. There was malice. There was some intent there. The option was to walk away. You have the option to walk away from arguments.
Because of his reckless actions, he ended up destroying the lives of so many people, including his daughter. Can you imagine how that girl will feel when she grows up and learns that her father not only murdered her mother, but that her grandma and uncle helped him cover it up? That has to be the worst kind of betrayal.
The gruesome details of what happened to Briana Winston unfold.
Together, the two men placed the suitcase inside of a burn barrel. They doused it with accelerant, lit a fire, and they kept that fire burning from the early afternoon until nightfall. 2
men, meaning Michael Edwards, didn't act alone in Winston's. According to Clayton County Police, Police Lieutenant Ashanti Marbury said Edwards and Winston got into an argument here at their apartment on Gardenwood Drive in College Park. Clayton County Police say he her and needed help getting rid of her body, and to do it, he had the support of over 4 accomplices.
The police concluded the news conference by thanking the family for helping authorities with the investigation.
In closing, I do want to say that we are surrounded with family members here, only because without them, we wouldn't have gotten where we were in some of the parts of this investigation. They filled in those gaps for somebody who wasn't around, showing what their day-to-day routine was, and we were able to already show the day-to-day routine had stopped. So they were very crucial in it, and we've been with them the whole time, and we really appreciate their support and being able to close this case for them.
Briana's family, who were too distraught to speak at the press conference later, said that they were grateful that the truth about Briana's tragic end had been uncovered, and they could now find closure and focus on getting justice for her.
News that's coming out is unbelievable. I've just been crying every night because I wasn't there to help her. At this point, I just want justice. Everybody that was involved needs to be prosecuted. I remember having her all the time when she was a baby, playing in her hair.
It's small memories like this that Jasmine Walker is cherishing now more than ever before.
The last couple of months it's been hard. I've had sleepless nights, just up worrying, just thinking like, where's Briana?
Her cousin, 23-year-old Briana Winston, was last seen on March 16th, and now the Clayton County Police Department says they believe she was by her boyfriend.
It was malice because it took some forethought.
Michal appeared before a judge on May 7th, where he faced a slew of charges, including malice. He was ordered to remain in custody without bond.
Heartbreaking details revealed in Mikhail Edwards' first appearance Friday. He's accused of choking his girlfriend, 23-year-old Briana Winston, to death.
You then traveled to Gates, Tennessee with the body of the victim concealed in a suitcase.
Authorities say it did not stop there.
And with a co-defendant, proceeded to burn the suitcase in a barrel using gasoline and lighter fluid as in an attempt to conceal the murder.
The case is still ongoing, with Michal's preliminary hearing set for June 5th, 2024. But we all hope that justice will be served for Briana. She definitely didn't deserve this.
Wasn't going to sleep until she was found. And I'm not going to give up until justice is served.
What do you think about this case? What would be the best punishment for everyone involved in the crime? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button.